Hello folks, I'm Alistair and welcome to the first video in my brand new iRacing series. I am a rookie with absolutely no iRacing experience at all. I'm literally the fella with all the gear and no idea. I'm rocking a Moser R9, some SRP pedals, and I think an ES steering wheel. I've done about an hour's or so practice before I even started this video in this FF1600 and decided to take the leap and jump into my first race. Well, actually, this is the first practice session, and we're at Lime Rock Park, and here's my first mistake. We head round that second corner into the third corner. Not too bad, not setting any pace records as we head down the, what I'm going to call the windy straight down here. And then, just as we get here, I slam on the anchors to take the chicane, and yeah. Here's a lesson for you, rookies. Check the configuration, make sure you get the right one. I got the wrong configuration. I thought we were taking the chicane there and then heading up to this part. So yeah, that completely and utterly confused me. But a fairly clean outlap, I think you'll agree. And then practice kind of went downhill before it went back uphill. So on to my second practice lap and down the windy straight into this right-hander. Bearing in mind I've not taken this at full throttle before. I think I can take it at full throttle, only... ouch. I can't take that at full throttle. Apparently, as I set off, you've got wheel damage, mate. Yeah, probably that and a broken arm and a broken leg to boot as well. Let's try that again. This time I take the right-hander okay. I didn't get too thrown by the bump at this point in time. We head down to this corner, which I'm pretty familiar with at this point, but I just carry too much speed in, get my entrance into the corner all wrong, and then just break both my legs. I'm in a serious amount of pain by this point. Let's try that again. Finally, I've been a little bit more sensible and completed pretty much the whole lap as I go into the final right-hander here, down onto the start-finish straight, and I think this was around about a 57-second lap, but then I make another mistake, another kind of still learning thing here. I'm looking for my time to see how well I've done, and I completely missed my braking point. Keep your eyes on the road. After those crashes and those kind of missing your braking points though, I did settle into a pretty decent rhythm, getting some 57-second laps, which I didn't think was too bad considering this is my first time around this configuration. And then this was probably my best lap of practice. For some reason it never got counted. I have no idea why. But anyway, it's pretty nice. I'm going around these corners fairly well, I think, for an absolute rookie. Down into the windy straight, as I'm calling it. Is this the fourth or the fifth corner? I don't know. Into the right-hander anyway. And then up over this bump, which not too bad that time. Sometimes that was sending me out to the right-hand side, but I got it right there. Into the one where we saw earlier, where I went straight on, got that nicely. Down here into the final right-hander. I never quite get this right, I don't think. I think there's a lot of time that I can make up here. Onto the start-finish straight. And then let's check out what this time was. We're 1.3 seconds up on our time of 55.6. I think that was my best. For some reason, that didn't count. Now, the other people in the practice here, I think their best times are around a 54.6, something like that. So I'm pretty happy with it. And to be honest with you, nothing more really eventful happened in practice. I just got some more laps in. And then I sat down for qualifier. So here we are going into the first lap. The outlap was absolutely fine. And we're going to go into the first right-hander here. And I think that, I had a little bit of a break between practice and quali. Only a few minutes, but not much. But it seemed to just, affect me. And I think the pressure at quali just got to me. Not great into that first right-hander. Already down on my best time. Again, left-hander not really hitting the apex there. Same for this right-hander. Just a little bit all over the shop. And then into the wriggly straight, as I'm now going to call it, the curvy straight, the bendy straight, into this right-hander that I have loads of trouble with. Again, nowhere near the apex, and it sends me out a little bit wide. Not too bad. Now into this right-hander where I've had problems before, and boom, just too wide. I'm out way too wide, but I managed to scoop up the car. Wasn't sure if my lap would count at this point. Turns out it doesn't. They need to be clean laps. And then, yeah, I get a second lap. So we're now going to be going into the second quali lap. And let's just see what the time was here. It was a 57.756. So quite a long way down on the practice times. Into the right-hander, a little bit better there than we did on the first lap. Into the second, or is that all one corner? Maybe it's all one corner. Into the left-hander again. I'm already down, but, not too bad. I just need to set a lap here. And again wide, all out of shape here, lose loads of time. Down the wriggly straight, losing time hand over fist down here because of my terrible cornering. into this bend, which again I've had some trouble with. Hit the apex this time, but still a long way out wide, and that counted as off track. So at this point I have got no time lapse. There's nothing I can do about it. I've gone out wide again. I have made a hash of qualifying, and then I go and make an even bigger mistake. So here is my mistake. I am sat at this screen thinking people are just finishing up quali and the grid will form in 25 seconds. Despite having clicked that green button for every other session, I didn't realize you had to click that button. In fact, I think iRacing could make that a little bit clearer, saying, you know, go to grid, click to go to grid, something like that. Anyway, as the clock goes down to 8, 7, 6, 5, I don't realize my mistake until I get the message saying you have missed the grid. Here, missed the start. I was not expecting that, so now I have to start from the pit lane. Actually wasn't too bothered about this. I've only lost one place, and actually starting on the grid in my first ever race, I think there'd be a temptation to try and get as many places as possible and probably smash into someone else and just completely ruin my race. So here I am starting from the pit lane. I'm a decent way behind the grid at this point into the first right hand corner. I'm just trying to keep this as clean as possible into the left-hander now, and as you can see there is a car spinning and then a big smash. That distracted me a little bit and I got all out of shape back onto the track, and then I bumped tires with one of the cars that was involved in that spin, and then down onto the Wrigley straight. Now at this point I think I'm in P11. We've got the car run wide there. I wasn't sure whether to go past him or not, but into P10. We got some more tire smoke up here, and we're into P9, and another car off here. We are into P8, I think. I could be wrong here. Anyway, we're following the car in front. We've had a pretty decent lap. We've already made up 4 places despite starting from the pit lane. I've got a decent exit there, but it turns out he is going off into the pits. So I think I am already, after 1 lap, after starting in the pit lane in P12, I'm up to P8. I thought I was up to P7. Maybe it was P8. Fair enough. So now I am 7 seconds off the pack. I run wide a little bit into corner 1. There is more tire smoke. I think that's Barry. I think Barry's gone off there. And I think I've taken up 7th position. It's a little bit weird. I'm trying to get used to the fact that that doesn't update. Anyway, as we go down the Wrigley straight into the right-hander, not too bad this time. A little bit squirrely out of the bend over the hump into the right-hander that I've had so much trouble with in practice and in quali. Not too bad, and that was a fairly nice turn into the final right-hander onto the start-finish straight. And the start-finish straight, that was a pretty tidy lap. We got a little bit out of shape early on, but not too bad, and we should be now up into, surely into P7. There we go, into P7. Seems to update at the end of the lap. Now, as you can see, I am 6 seconds behind Barry. That does not update all that quick, does it? And yeah, it was a fairly quiet race for quite a long period for me. So I had a series of clean laps, actually. My race went pretty well, all things considering. I think I even did a 55.4, which was like my best lap. It was better than anything I did in practice, certainly better than what I did in quali. Still struggling a little bit over this right-hander, but not too bad as you go over the hump there. We've jumped from lap 3 to lap 10. I'm also up to P5 at this point, not through great racing from myself, but through accidents and spins from other people. We will check out the spins and crashes and stuff at the end of the race. Here is the only on-track battle I had in the entire race, and it's with Brian. As you can see, I'm catching him pretty quickly. Despite the fact I'm getting a little bit out of shape myself, Brian is also getting out of shape here, and both our mistakes are kind of just cancelling each other out. Got a beautiful exit here. I get really happy about the fact that I've done that and then screw up the right-hander there and lose a little bit of time into this battle. Down the squiggly straight here into the right-hander. Brian goes a little bit wide. I get a much better corner there, but then screw up the exit as I did so many times going wide into the right-hander again. Brian's not got a good entrance into there, and this time I decide I can make a lunge down the right-hand side, and by the time I'm into the right-hand corner, I am past him cleanly. A beautiful clean move, my first serious overtake in an iRacing race. At this point, I'm not sure what Brian's going to do. He goes up behind me, but actually he's really sensible. He backs out of it, doesn't give me too much of a challenge, and away I go. I get a bit of a decent exit out of there, and then into the left-hander. Try not to screw this one up. Brian is going away from me there. Into the right-hander. Again, I have a lot of trouble there still. Still a rookie, remember that. But again, I'm now making up decent amount of time. I'm 0.1 second down the road. I'm guessing that hasn't updated for a little bit because he looks a little bit further away. May as well stick with the action here. We're on lap 12. We're pulling away from Brian. And then as I go into this right-hander, a little bit wide, but at least I didn't go completely out to the left. Into the final right-hander before the start finish. I then get shown the white flag amid more confusion for me because I didn't really know what that meant. It turns out it means we're on to the last lap. Just keep it nice and smooth. I've got Brian behind me. A little bit worried about mistakes in case he catches me up. But here we go. Goodbye, Brian. Unfortunately, Brian drops it. And we'll go back and check the incidents. We'll see if Brian made it to the end. I'm not 100% sure if he did or not. I've had 3 incidents in this race. Most of those were in the early laps. I'm pretty proud of that. I missed the start. So I started in position 12 from the start, from the pit lane, but then made our way up to P4 mainly through others' mistakes. All you got to do is keep it clean and tidy at a decent pace, and you can make up places in these early races. Into the right-hander that's given me so many problems, but actually took it rather nicely there. Into the final right-hander, taking us to the start-finish line, and then a smooth drive down the final straight, down the straight. And here we go, over the line, take the checkered flag. We did a 55.9 in our final lap. I am pretty proud of that race. Let me know what you think about what you saw. Was that good? How can I improve? I hear a lot of tire squealing, and I'm thinking that's probably not a good thing. Probably means I'm taking the corners a little bit too quick, and I can find some time there. Right, let's go and check out some of the incidents in this race. So we had the big crash at the first as the car up ahead there just lost it, and a big smash into the multiple sort of spins here. He did well to avoid that one, and then the orange car going airborne there. And on the same part of the incident, that just, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Just wasn't expecting the slow car, I guess. This one, just a minor spin, but I included this one because in a moment, just on the right-hand side there, you'll see me go zooming past. There we go. That's me. Way. This is Brian, actually, I think. This is how Brian ended up so much closer to me. And then whilst Brian was doing that, this guy up ahead was doing this. And apparently that was terminal damage and goodbye. And this was Brian right at the end. We had to see if Brian made it. And thankfully, that was only a small spin. He was able to continue, didn't lose any more places. So there we have it, folks. The end of my very first race, P4. Hope you enjoyed this footage. Hope you're looking forward to more races from me. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Anyway, folks, I'm Alistair. Goodbye.